tail. All right. Somebody's here. She comes and goes. I don't know what her deal is. Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah, she just comes to me. She sits here for a little bit, then she runs off, then she comes back. So, then she try to take it out of the background. It's still hanging in there. The older they get, the more they respond to me. Usually they don't care, but they've been listening to me more recently, sort of. Sort of. All right, we're going to Mars, solar system energy. Mars, the aggressive energies that are here. You got plenty of that, right? I believe a lot of it's Martian. Of course, it's also connected to Orion. So you have Mars and Orion. You just have, I believe Mars has a lot. I mean, we're like a sister planet of Mars because we have a lot of Venus energy. So I guess, I don't know. Well, we merged with all these other worlds. See, she's back. She left, and now she's back. Yeah, it's like she's on the the runway. She's not wearing any designer clothes, but it'd be funny if she just showed up wearing something different. You know something's going on. Not at first, still the same, but she was wearing some kind of weird costume every time she got down and came back. That'd be kind of weird. This is what I have to deal with. And so, yeah, the Martian frequencies, because some of the satellite technologies that's here, it's, I don't know, something about Mars and monkey people. I'm not going to go into all that. Ancient times. I'm not going to go into all that. There could be truth to that. It's hard to say. And then some people might just fantasize about that kind of stuff. So more power to you on that one. So, and also the Venus frequencies. Of course, Venus has the feminine energies, but still has some difficulties with that too. There's also, which I don't take connect to Venus for much. There is a nuclear war energy there too. It's not just Mars. It's Venus also. Which I think is kind of the first time I don't tap into these places that often. But yeah, even Venus has their own nuclear issues at some point in some reality somewhere. So, all right, she's settled down. So to the Martian energies, Mars is connected to slavery and things like that. And of course, they're not too big on the feminine frequencies, but there is female Martians. I believe there also are female Martians that were very feminine, or to a certain level. But also, design, something about they're very much like you have the modeling and stuff like that. There's like the designer Vogue magazine and stuff like that. They had a lot of sense of style, is what at least the more energy I pick up on. And Venus has that too, but even Mars, all that's going on, it's something good came out of it as they're imploding their planet, kind of like us in some regard. Okay, all right, go real quick into just to bring this up real fast. All right, Zarato.com, prior sessions. I think we do store here. It takes a while to load or won't load. And the shop here. All right. Okay. Oops. Okay, all right, we're going to Mars frequencies and kind of keep it short. That's about it. I can't think of anything else. So, okay, all right, blessings for you. Greetings to Martian frequencies. We also kind of did time travel technologies. You can say that was part of our downfall, as that we could see too much about our future, as it altered our reality, became consumed with seeing the future, which is part of our demise. It's like we're just the seeds of just our own ruin occurred by just making, just becoming too reliant on technologies, because even the technology itself started to lie to us, you can say. Of course, our vibrations, our selfishness, at least the dark regions of Mars, became more just self obsessed, somewhat transhumanism to a certain level, not full fledged, but there is some of that. But just basically, well, we tapped into realms of technology realms that were militaristic, military energies. And when you do that, so you have to use it for something, like your culture shifts drastically. And you become obsessed with cloning, as some of you already know. It's basically like also like changing over military leaders, not just on our world, but other worlds, like taking over other planets quietly through cloning. Not so much the android energy, mostly through cloning. And it wasn't just like we see here on your world with your political situation. It's like there's some, even if it's, you have somebody in a leadership position, and it, smart at one. Well, of course, the one you have is never that bright, but we'll just say smart at one time and now an idiot the next. But it doesn't matter because of the ranking. So who cares? It's like, there's some smartness there, but a lot of alterations of just, wow, you're just very different now. But it sounds the same, looks the same, but still very different. So, and that's because the agenda came in. You can say the current presidency, there's several agendas with that one. A lot of it's just kind of like the insult. It's either just to insult society, basically. Just to, part of it's to see what they can get away with, your presidential situation. But the other thing is just like how screwball can they get him? Or just how loose nut can they get his brain? I mean, they really want him to fail right in front of her. Of course, he has been. It's like a battery that's slowly dying out, just like a doll. Slowly, like it just the brains, the sprockets within it just starts like an eyeball comes out, and it obviously it's not to that extent, but it's very much like that. It's like all of a sudden all the wires start to break through. Yeah, it's like it's done like that in a human way. So it's just something that happens very gradually. But yes, it is very much medicated, of course. But there is some super soldier energy with him too that they use for that to keep him alive. That's one reason why he's still alive. Of course, his brain can't handle it. Like his body's, it's not great, but it's like his body's in better shape than his brain. His body's not great, but the brain is like completely gone at this point. I mean, there's fragments of who he is, but not much. But there's also artificial intelligence that's to a certain level. It has to do with the program, the MK Ultra. Of course, there's different words for that. They don't call it that, but either way. Well, from a Martian's perspective, we're going into some of the Venus energies. Martians can be blunt, arrogant, like smoking a cigar, similar to like your Castro in Cuba. That's very much like a Martian way of doing things. Stalin is very much a Martian, at least the male toxic frequency. Hitler, not so. That's more of a Venus energy. Even Mercury. I'm not going to go into him. That's too much for some. But the Venus energies can also be very much like an angelic trickster frequency. I mean, yes, there's a positive side to Venus. There's also kind of, because they use their looks and appearance to manipulate society. They use their, cleverness. And that, of course, Martians do that too, but they're so arrogant. Yeah, they might use their cleverness, but they're just so into themselves and don't care about anyone else, into their ego. But the Venus beings are just like the Venus flytrap. Yeah, it's just like a little, just like the Nordics. It's very Nordic like, where you just come in very attractive and then seduce the society. Now, not all of them are like that, but a lot of your cult energies come from Venus. Not entirely, but there is a lot of Venus cult frequencies here. Well, because they know how to use a certain frequency to go into the mind, kind of like to seduce the mind, through mind control, through their own, how they word it. It just, they have a sense of spell through them. Martians aren't always the strongest there. Big machines, arrogance, some spell, nothing like what a Venus being. Venus are a lot more sophisticated there. So, of course, there are Martians that bring more feminine energies, where it can be very much powerful in a spell force, but it's mostly a Venus being. Venus beings are just naturally, they're just more frequency, because Martians are more third dimensional. And you can say Martians play a big role. Why your world is very physical. Like the dinosaur is, depending on what history you connect to, does have a lot of Martian origins connected to it. Genetic engineering. Now, some might argue that it's not, but it is. But there is a Martian vibe there. Think like a region of Mars where there were dinosaurs, let's put it that way. But we didn't have to go through they didn't all have to be extinct or anything. They live among society, just like we would see some of your science fiction movies. It's very similar to that. Not exactly the kind of dinosaurs we have. We didn't call them dinosaurs either. They're very different, but still kind of the same. So, grease you. We got Venus frequencies. Our energies are here to heal the heart chakra of the earth, keep the earth going. But also the earth is here to clear a lot of karma throughout this universe, as you can see. Is a karmic world. There's probably a better word for it, but it's just that this is a war universe. Always parts of it. It's like the Old West, but worse. Well, it's galactic. It's organisms that are at war with just life. Like a disease. There are disease worlds. Go to a world and there's just all there is disease. So, and this world has portions of that. But that's brought here, a lot of it is just for exit points, to part of the purge, recycling. It's kind of like your rainstorms and all. It's just like sometimes disease comes just to flesh out a part of life, to bring in new life. Yes, not exactly, parasitic, yes, but necessary for a world like this. But as you can see, many souls are obsessed with their physical self, and can't let go. That's why they get trapped here so easily. Well, because they become human and they forget about the spirit realms, and they get pulled into your religious manipulations. Not all, but quite a few of them do. And they just get pulled into a reincarnated cycle. They become a nun or some kind of, they can, or they just become like a member of the congregation throughout their next incarnations. So it is a soul trap. Along with other religions, not all religions are as powerful as the Catholic Church, but some, even with the church, how it's designed and everything, as you know, has a way of just seducing the soul. And of course, there's other religions that are offshoot from the Catholic Church that are actually trying to break free of that, actually. It's hard to let go of it fully, especially when you've been stuck in it for such a long time. So you go through different denominations to eventually break out altogether. Some need to go through that, not every. Some just quit cold turkey just like that. But it's like any other addiction. Sometimes it take you need to take 2 drinks, 1 drink to let go, and others, and that's the same thing with religion. And others just quit cold turkey just like that. But then you have now you have the spiritual manipulators that are out there currently to the alien, because the alien is the sugar. So we're connecting more to our galactic entities and all that. So that's the key word to pull people in and then to lock them in into another reincarnation cycle. To the new earth, whatever earth they want, alien, some kind of disclosure, even dreams, even religion, those cult leaders or the entity that's connected to the cult leader can create dreams and all kinds of, scenarios within the soul. And you get fractalized too. Like, a part of you can get stuck here, another part of you can be free. The part that is so curious of this is like, you can, after your incarnation, you look at the world as like, wow, there's still a part of me, still another part of me just incarnated, and I was done with it. It's because a part of you still needs to go through this. Sounds a little strange. That might be more a subdued version, a simplified version of you, but is a part that needs, and that version might break free, and that's what you're there to break a part of you out of this world. Yeah, it's very, as you can imagine, if you have curiosity here and you're about to exit, as long as nothing's keeping you curious, you can have a full exit. But if there's things around the world that you still want to check into, you can easily get stuck there. To give you an idea how that works. So just exiting your world is that's why somebody take a while to die, because they're just sitting there just kind of this months, years, because they're kind of just letting go of the physical world. So when they do leave, they leave altogether. So I gave you some context. At least that's one way it's done. But once again, there are others that can just leave without a problem. But as you can imagine, religious energies is just, because they want to keep this system going. This archon spell, you can say, for whatever reason. Well, it's like, any other type of drug or alcohol, they just put it out there. It's up to the soul to grab onto it. And a lot of them are grabbing onto it. So like, you can all reject it and move on. You can reject this world and move on, and this world will lose its purpose. So there is still something to understand about this, but it doesn't mean those of you that are on your last incarnation are going to come back here. Unlikely, because you're just here to, and that's why sometimes you're on your last life, and it's sometimes the hardest life, but you're just clearing everything out before you leave. It's kind of like you're clearing out your garage. You have to deal with some of the most difficult people of your incarnation for whatever reason, from other past lives, whatever it is. So your last lifetime could be, the hell pit before you leave. You can find some bliss there eventually, but there most likely be some kind of period where it's like it's really testing you to your brink of existence, like pushing you to your own end almost, as some of you know. So